Good morning. It is Wednesday, April 8th. We are 90 days out from July 7th, the DTD2. This week, you are calling your A's and W's, you're texting your R's. So we have rolled. I know we went into last week starting the new month, yet the quarter still hadn't really flipped for us, at least with the DTD2. So we're in the first official week of the DTD2 now, and you're calling your A's and W's and texting your R's. It is a Wednesday, of course, so we've got contracts and contracts and contracts. Your opportunity to get involved today with whatever you choose, should you decide. Fight Club is happening, of course. That is 9 to 12. Fight Club goes on from 9 to 12. You can go to KWFightClub.com and jump in that room. That room has the ability to just remind you what you should be doing, right? Whatever you're doing for lead gen, whether it's prospecting or marketing. If you're putting together some marketing pieces, if you're planning your door knock, because the sun is this, apparently we're done snowing. And yet, if you're going to start to, as we get into the warmer weather, start to pick a day of the week that you're just going to keep door knocking the neighborhood that you want to be the mayor of. Maybe you're putting together your one sheets that you're going to hand out while you're door knocking. So whatever you're doing for prospecting or marketing, Fight Club is the place to do it. Now, Fight Club only has 3 more days where you're going to rebrand Fight Club. Fight Club is going to sunset at noon on Friday, and then you will see next week we start with Breakthrough, the new class that we're delivering on Mondays, and then, of course, all week long, because at some point you'll be done with the classes, and you'll figure this out as we go along. But Monday, we have our new program starting called Breakthrough 120. Breakthrough is happening on Mondays in the form of a class from 9 to 12. And then there will be Breakthrough Club, replacing Fight Club. Breakthrough Club is going to be our lead gen time. And then, of course, the midday protocol at 12 o'clock. And all 3 of those things work in concert to help us with our mindset and our skill set, and then our execution, and then our accountability. So that's the point of all that. And we'll keep talking about it. I know it's something new and people are like, what is this all about? We're going to keep explaining it. You got an email last night at 7 o'clock, I believe. We pushed the go button at 7 p.m. To remind you that that is starting next week. So Breakthrough, a whole new program, which is going to be never ending. We will take a break from the Monday classes as we roll through the 5 sessions, because they're going to happen on Mondays in order. And then you'll roll through the 5 Mondays. Then we'll take a little bit of a break, because obviously throughout the summer, we're going to have a chance to just take a break and not just keep running it consistently. But you'll have a 5-week cadence, a little bit of a break. Then you can jump back in should you choose to, because this would be the idea of this class, is ultimately jump back in when you need to, but ultimately join it when we get started on Monday. So Breakthrough starts next week. So you'll see Fight Club disappear and be replaced by Breakthrough Club. And ultimately, that's our lead gen time. We can do all the learning in the world. We can keep getting ready. There is a time to execute. And that window we hold sacred as our time to execute. So, of course, today, you've got a chance to jump into commercial contracts at 9 o'clock. That's in Portsmouth or on Keller TV. You've got main contracts at 10 o'clock in Portsmouth or on Keller TV. And then, of course, New Hampshire contracts at 11 o'clock in Portsmouth or on Keller TV. Now, if your face isn't licensed in all 3 of those states, we'd invite you to hang out in Fight Club and do your lead gen. Knowing the contracts is important. Not having anybody to share the contracts with is frightening. So we want to make sure we're doing both, right? Prospecting and learning. You can do both on a Wednesday morning. That's why we have it all week long. So commercial, Maine, and New Hampshire, that's the order for today. If you're not involved in all 3 of those conversations for contracts, please jump into KWFightClub.com and hang out with the rest of your agents. We've got the cameras on, the microphones off. Everyone's doing lead generation. It's as simple as that. And I know your thought is, well, Timmy, I don't need to sit in that room to do lead generation. Okay. I trust maybe you don't. Then at the very least, I would say, give it a shot. And then above and beyond that, if it's going so well, join us at 12 o'clock. That's when we do the midday protocol. That's where the accountability kicks in, right? So we're learning with the class on Monday. We're doing the lead gen every morning from 9 to 12. And then at 12 o'clock, you come to timsoffice.com, timsoffice.com at 12 for the midday protocol. And we're taking stock of where we stand in relationship to our goals. And I'm just going to ask for 3 numbers. And when you come to this, you can just hang out. I'm going to ask people to share. If people want to share, they can share. If you don't want to share, you don't have to share. If you just want to come and see what other people are talking about, and guess what? You're going to be in the room and you're going to be like, oh, a veteran just reported zeros. Yes, they did. And the beauty of that, the beauty of being accountable to yourself and to your business and willing on a Wednesday when the sun's out, don't scare it away, when the sun is out, is that if you have a Wednesday where you report zeros or a Thursday where you report zeros, I promise you won't have a week where you report zeros. You won't have a month or a quarter where you report zeros. But there are going to be days that, like, yeah, I didn't get to anything. And again, you're not just reporting from the morning, you're reporting from yesterday at 12:30 when we broke company. And you'll hear me say that. Hey, since we last spoke, what do we have? And here are the 3 categories we're always looking for. These are the 3 lead indicators that tell us where we are. How many interactions or conversations have you had in the last 24 hours? I will ask you at 12 o'clock. How many appointments have you set to sit with buyers, sellers, or investors to sign them into your business? And then our 3rd category is how many agreements did you get signed? Whether it's to sign a buyer or seller or a purchase and sale to put somebody under agreement on a property. Conversations and interactions, appointments and agreements. And if you're tracking those things, then you know where you stand in relationship to your goal. If you track that every day, then the week doesn't get away from you. Then the month doesn't get away from you. Then the quarter doesn't get away from you. Because here we are in quarter 2. And what you're doing right now are July 7th activities. April 8th activities are July 7th results. April 8th activities are July 7th results. We're in a 90-day window. That's why it's so important to hold ourselves to account. That's why we put all that together. So you've got contracts all morning, again, commercial, Maine, New Hampshire, the midday protocol. At 12 o'clock, Portsmouth and Zoom, you've got the winning AI algorithm, and you can do that from 12 to 1:30 right here in Portsmouth as contracts wraps up. And then from 3 to 6, White Mountain Board of Realtors. White Mountain Board of Realtors has a bowling night from 3 to 6, and the details on that are on the White Mountain Board of Realtors website. And you might be able to click the link. I'm reading it from the morning news. Anyway, all that aside, there are so many things that we could be doing. We just had a whole crew, and congratulations to them, graduate from Bold yesterday. And there was a lot of learning that went on in that Bold room. There were a lot of activities discussed. There were activities that were executed during the class time. And here's what I want to make sure everyone's mindful of. With Bold now in our rearview mirror as of yesterday, with Breakthrough starting on Monday, then we've got a bunch of people on Tuesdays that are coming in for our Pathway to Success with Brittany. Wednesdays are contracts. Thursdays, there's always some sort of a learning opportunity. This Thursday, actually, we're going to have orientation tomorrow. And then Fridays, you get to learn from usually another agent with Coffee with a Capper. The calendar is set up, again, and mind you, from 9 to noon, every day. There's a chance to actually do the activities. And if it's getting away from you, or if it feels overwhelming, or you're not quite sure what to do, I'm just going to ask you to raise your hand. You could go and use the scripts from Jeff Glover that we have on the hub. If you go to KWCLM Hub and you go over to productivity and coaching and click that link, you're going to see the scripts page. Yes, I said the dirty word, scripts. Conversation blueprints, whatever lets you sleep at night. And on there, one of the most powerful sets of scripts is from Jeff Glover. Very clean, super efficient, and he is a master at his craft. So maybe you're using those. Maybe you're using the ones you just got because you're a graduate of Bold. You've got Bold scripts. And I trust the people that are in Bold and people that are in Pathway to Success, and maybe our veteran agents still are doing it with one of their peers. Are you spending some time each morning to make sure that you're ready to go into your conversations? Do you know what you're going to say, right? We talk about that all the time. Phil M. Jones talks about that all the time. The worst time to figure out what you're going to say is in the moment. Being well scripted is knowing exactly what to say. And it's not to say it to combat people. That's our biggest challenge when we are unpracticed, is I'm not listening. I would argue, and I'll die on this hill. Personally, for me, I feel the best thing that happened in my business when I became well scripted is I no longer had to worry about what they were going to say next. Because if you're talking and I'm thinking, oh my God, what is she going to say? Oh my God, what if she asks about this or that or this or that or this or that? That whole time that I'm running this mental marathon in my head, am I listening to you? Am I hearing your concerns? Am I actively listening? Am I compartmentalizing information for later on during the transaction? Or am I giving you the 1,000-yard stare while I freak out because I'm afraid you're going to ask a question that I can't answer? This just in. They're going to ask questions that we can't answer. And it's not about having a pithy comment. It's not about having a retort. It's not about combating what they're asking. We handle objections by peeling the onion and asking more questions. I've said for years, the bullet points that I like to leave behind are ask great questions, take great notes, and have honest conversations. And people always say to me, well, what's a great question, Tim? It's the next one. Stay curious. And when we're doing lead gen, we shouldn't feel like failures because, hey, I just did 3 hours of lead gen. Or if you're getting started today, you just did 60 minutes of lead gen. God bless you. I just did my lead gen and I didn't set any appointments. That's not the point. That is a perfect achievement of doing consistent lead gen. But if you're really going to sit down for the first time today in a long time or ever and start to call through your people by using the DTD2, do the database 2, I'm going to call my A's and W's. I'm going to text my R's. If you get an appointment, that's fantastic. If you nurture some relationships, that's the point. We have to tell everyone in our life we're in real estate 7 times before they forget. And we cannot afford the luxury of thinking that people are supposed to get a hold of us. A lot of us like to tell each other, hey, yeah, I'm working with a bunch of buyers. My question for you is, are you working with your buyers or are you waiting with your buyers? Because if you have a buyer, they've told you what they're looking for. They've given you a license to go out and hunt and find that property for them. There's not a single agent at our little company, 463, or in the entire company of KWRI, there's not a single agent that has too many listings. Not a one. Because even the agents, you're like, wow, look at all the listings they have. I promise you that rainmaker still wants more. Our pursuit always needs to be to find the commodity that our industry requires, and that is homes to sell. And we're going to get there by talking to the people that we know and love and trust to find out who they know that we should know, to nurture those relationships. So when it becomes transactional for them, we'll be the person that's top of mind. Because in the 6 to 7 year gap in between them buying and selling or investing, we showed up emotionally. We showed up caring. We showed up for them. If I can help, let me know. It is 603-834-2856. You can also book my face at meetwithcoach.com. We'll see you in and around the Market Center and the internet. Take care.